Welcome to Moms of the Lou podcast, hosted by and recorded for St. Louis moms. Grab your laundry basket, kick your feet up for nap time, or head out the door for pickup and spend a little time catching up with your favorite St. Louis moms. Hosted by a fellow St. Louis mom, Rebecca Coast, let's dive into our discussion today. Well, hello, St. Louis moms. Welcome back to another episode of our Moms of the Lou podcast. I'm so excited today to be joined by a guest I've long had on our radar for our podcast, the lovely Alexis Zotos.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
So excited to have you
I'm so
here.
excited to be here.
Yay. Okay, so you're a St. Louis mom.
I am.
And our readers would probably recognize you from
The news.
The
Yeah.
news.
So I also am a reporter at KMOV First Alert 4.
Mm-hmm. And you are from St. Louis.
I'm from St. Louis, born and raised. I grew up kind of around U City and Ladue. Went to Ladue for
Ladue High
all
School.
those ones that want to know where you went to high school. Graduated from Ladue, and I have two little ones. I have a 1.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old, two boys that keep me very busy and on my toes.
Yes, and you have the best Instagram account.
Oh, you're so
Love
sweet.
following
Thank
you. What's your favorite thing to post about? On your
I just love when things resonate with my fellow St. Louis community.
Yeah.
I obviously started posting, oh my God, well, I don't know. I've been on Instagram for probably since Instagram started, which
Yeah.
is crazy. But my favorite thing to post about is just my love for St. Louis,
Mhm.
the things to do, the places to go, where to eat. Food is my passion. I post a ton of food content. And then once I became a mom, I really shifted into posting a lot about being a mom, where to take your kids,
Yeah.
how to still have fun in your life while being a mom.
Yes.
Because that's hard sometimes. Sometimes you feel like, and I had my baby during the pandemic, tail end of the pandemic,
Yeah.
but it was hard to know exactly okay, where should I take my baby? And you feel really isolated. And I was one of those people that said, I'm not going to let kids change my way of
Yeah.
life. And obviously, they change your the way they
Right.
change your life.
They do.
But my kids have been going to restaurants and breweries since they were 2 weeks old.
Yeah,
So-
totally. They don't have to change it for the worst.
The worst, exactly.
it can
You
be
just
for better.
it changes in a way. Yeah, we don't do as many of date nights as
Yeah.
we used to, but we still prioritize date nights, my husband and I, and we love to take our kids out and about and explore everything that St. Louis has to offer.
Yes. Okay, so what's your favorite date night spot? Valentine's Day is coming up.
Ooh, yes.
So-
Okay. There's so many good spots.
Yeah.
We just recently had a date night at Idlewolf downtown,
Yes.
which is in the 21C Hotel. So
Mhm.
it's not only a really delicious restaurant, but you can also just go sit at the bar, and they have one of my top espresso martinis. And plus they have this art gallery space. So that in itself is the date. You can walk around, you look at all the art,
Perfect.
you have a drink
Yeah.
and dessert or a drink and an appetizer at the bar.
Yeah.
That was a really fun date night.
You could make it a night.
Yeah,
too, if
we
you
did.
wanted.
We went
Yeah.
to dinner somewhere else
Mhm.
beforehand. I can't remember actually what we did before because that was our ending point of the night.
Yeah.
But that's a great spot. Bar Morrow is a
Mhm.
really fun sit at the bar spot.
Yep.
Anytime we can get into Louis is a really great date night.
Yeah.
So there's so many good spots. And then plus we're both in that space of life where we like to be home early.
Yeah.
I like to be asleep by 10. So we love a brunch date.
Yeah.
Drop the kids off at one of our mom's house in the morning
Yep.
and go out to brunch and do a crossword puzzle and
Yeah.
just kind of connect over breakfast and
Love that.
then get back for the kids' nap time.
And that's great for kids too. I know my
Exactly.
family, we love to do brunch together, I
Mhm.
will say.
We're brunch
'Cause
people.
it's before nap,
yeah.
and
Exactly. It's a fun, and that's the thing. We like to take our kids out to brunch, and brunch is easy. Kids love pancakes. So,
yeah, totally. Okay, so where's your favorite spot to take your boys?
oh, so many places. I mean, if I'm thinking brunch, Winslow's Table is a really good brunch spot. My kids love Southwest Diner.
Yes.
We like to sit in that outdoor patio. When I think about taking kids out to eat, I always think about one, going early.
Mhm.
So if you're going to dinner, go early at 5:00. It's better sometimes for the kids. It's also a lot less crowded in
For
a
sure.
restaurant
Yeah.
or maybe a less disruption.
Mhm.
I love an outdoor spot. Which
Yes.
is, a little difficult in February in St. Louis.
Right.
But patios, places like Peacemaker or Four Hands in
Mhm.
Kirkwood, we
Yeah.
love that backspace.
Yeah.
Even a place like Hacienda with their kids
Yes.
play area.
Oh, yeah, that playground.
It's really great to see so many restaurants and businesses cater to families with
Yes.
kids because we do want to go out. We want to like have a good meal and
Absolutely.
enjoy a drink and bring our kids out and to have places that welcome kids. Pastaria is another really good one. They've got like a good kids menu. I'm always excited when I see like a kids menu at like good restaurants.
Yes.
Um,
That's not necessarily like chicken nuggets and
right.
fries.
Like they could just like get something else too. Like Adara is another one that like I always think about. They have a great kids menu and that's like a delicious restaurant that, you know, parents can enjoy as well as their kids.
Yeah, totally. And that's a great outdoor space.
Yeah.
too.
Love that outdoor space.
Yes. Okay, so you are on the television.
I am on the television.
All the time, and that freaks me out because I don't know how you do it. I've been on the news before, and it terrifies me, and I don't know how you do it. But what drew you into journalism?
Yeah, so I went to college in California. I did not go to Mizzou, even though I'm from here. I didn't know I wanted to do journalism until I got to college. I originally wanted to do more film and television. I wanted to be an actress. My parents were like, okay, cool. You have to like actually get a degree in something. Right. So I was studying communication with a film minor and was looking for a way to volunteer and meet friends. And the TV station was looking for volunteers. So I did that and just fell in love with it. Our school had a really incredible journalism program that really let you be hands-on. And I loved every second of it. I switched majors to broadcast and digital journalism and really never looked back. And I think about that all the time that, I don't know, timing is sort of everything because I started as a freshman in January. So I was like a spring admin. And had I not done that, I might not have ever found journalism. Like maybe I would have, but because of that timing, I wasn't rushing a sorority yet. So I was like looking for another way to volunteer. And that's how I found the TV station. And that's how I got this career. And I think about it all the time that I really just found a way to do everything I love, which is talking to people.
Yes.
You know, being, you know, I do like being a presence. I always did theater growing up and this is just sort of a different way of being out there. My first job was in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I worked for the ABC station there for almost 3 years and then was looking for my next job, journalism, TV journalism. You move around a lot. Yeah. And I had reached out to KMOV in St. Louis. I had interned for them in college. And they're like, hey, we don't have any openings yet, but we'll keep you in mind. And then August of 2014, they called and said, hey, we have an immediate opening. This was right at the time that Michael Brown was killed. And they said, can you like start next week? And I was like, oh, I'm under contract. Like, I don't think I can start that soon.
Sure, yeah.
I talked to my station in Tennessee and they were like, we can let you go in October. We need you to stick around for another month or two. So I started, my last day at my old station was on a Friday. I started at KMOV on a Monday, October 1st, 2014. And so I just hit my 10-year mark in the fall. And it's been a whirlwind. I absolutely love telling stories in the community that I grew up. Yeah. I don't take it for granted because I feel so honored to be able to tell the stories of our community.
I love that. And do you feel like being on camera is in a way kind of like being on a stage?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Like you're into
it takes it in like it's funny because you talk about being nervous. Like I never get nervous.
Okay.
I also though never think about the people watching. Okay. Like the rule you learn in college in journalism school is act like you're talking to your mom. And so like when I think about, you know, giving a live report, I just think like, okay, my mom's watching. So I'm like telling my mom what happened that day in St. Louis, essentially. When sometimes our station will send out like ratings numbers, especially like winter storms when we do like insane amount of people watching. Yeah. And when they send out those numbers, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of people. I should have brushed my hair. So I try not to think about that. But yeah, there is definitely a stage presence to it. And there are very few times these days that I get nervous.
Did you get nervous at the beginning?
A little bit. The only times I'm really nervous are like sometimes you just roll up to a breaking news scene and, you know, the producer says, hey, you're on in 10 minutes and you don't have any information yet, but you're just like, okay, I know what I see. So I'm going to tell our viewers, like, here's what's happening. I mean, the easiest way to say that is like a fire. You know, you roll up, you don't have any information yet from the officials, but I can tell you like, hey, this street is shut down because firefighters are battling this fire on this block. You might be seeing smoke for miles away. It's because of this. Here's what we know right now, and we'll get more information as it becomes available.
Yeah.
So those are the only times I get a little nervous, or like a really big interview.
Sure.
Something that I've prepped for a long time. Those kinds of things. But honestly, I really don't get nervous that much anymore.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're an old pro. You're an old pro.
I am.
Yeah. So I feel like, we're both moms and we know how life has changed with kids. And that means our jobs too, right? And our ability to show up professionally. And so, breaking news waits for no one, right? They don't care what kind of schedule you want. Exactly. So what kind of hours were you working in your job when you became a mom?
Right. So for the last 10 years, I worked nights. So I was on the 10 o'clock news. So my schedule was 2 p.m. to about 11 p.m., which I absolutely loved for a really long time. Even as like a younger person, like it was really great. It was hard dating because like trying to get somebody to go on a date with you at like 10:30 at night when you got off work was a little hard. I think about my husband all the time. So grateful he met me at Dressels at 10:30 at night on like a Thursday.
Way to go.
And he talks about it all the time because he almost blew me off because he's like, I'm so tired. He was with friends and he's like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to go on this date at 10:30 at night. Yeah. And they like looked me up and his friend was like, no, she's on the news. Like, dude, you have to go on this date. Go.
That's hilarious.
So grateful that my husband stayed. And now knowing that like he like can barely stay up past 10 p.m. I'm always grateful that we made that work early on. That's awesome. So it worked really great. And then even once I became a mom, had my first child, it was actually a really good schedule because I got to spend all morning with my baby.
Yeah.
And then I had to go to work at 2 and my husband would take care of him at night and I'd be home. And my husband and I really didn't see each other much because of the schedules. But it worked really well when we had our first child. And then we had our second child and it was working until it wasn't.
Yeah.
I felt like I was really missing nighttime.
Yeah.
I was missing bedtime. Yep. I couldn't put my kids to bed. We couldn't have family dinner during the week.
Yep.
I worked Sunday through Thursday. And so we had our weekends together, but we just felt like it was just like a very disjointed family situation.
Yeah.
And so I had planned to hang up my news cap and leave the station last year. And I had the conversation with my bosses and they said, would you stay and go part-time? Which I didn't think was an option.
Wow.
It's not really something that is done in news. And I had said, do we do that? And they're like, no, not really, but we would to keep you. Wow. So that's what I did starting in October. I switched my schedule around. I work now Monday through Wednesday and I work 9 to 6.
Okay.
So I'm home in time for bedtime. Most nights I'm home in time for dinner. It sort of depends on the day, but has made a world of difference. Like I just feel like we have so much more time as a family together. Yeah. And I get to put my babies to bed and just kind of be there for them more. And it's hard because, in the mornings it's crazy, trying to get 2 kids out the door to school and to daycare. But we have so much more time together like as a family unit. Yeah. And I'm really excited that I was able to sort of make that transition in my career.
That's great. With that I can't imagine going back and forth between those two dynamics, you know, when you were full-time, because I feel like nighttime also is when everybody kind of loses it. Nighttime is hard.
It was really hard for my husband. It was really hard for him to do it.
And that's tough. Yeah.
And so it's been nice to know that my company was willing to do that. And I think one of the biggest takeaways that I've had in talking to other moms over the last year was that we have to just ask for something we want. Like the answer might be no.
Yep.
Like your company, your boss, they might say no, but they might say yes. I think we are seeing a time where moms are more and more valued in the workplace, which has not always been the case and still obviously isn't the case in, unfortunately, a lot of companies. But moms are valued. Having employees that stick around is valued. And I think it does make a difference that I've been there for 10 years. Like, I don't know if it would have been an option for someone who'd only been there for 2 years because I have built a, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but I have built a reputation, a rapport with our community, with our station. And they knew that keeping me was going to, ensure that we were turning out the good stories that I've been doing for 10 years in
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Yeah. How do you feel like you're being able to kind of navigate that schedule? How has it added value to motherhood? Like, how has your being able to hold on to that professional side of you
Yeah,
impacted your
it's
journey as a mom?
it's interesting. I just, was off for almost 2 weeks around the holidays, which
Mhm.
was like the longest I've taken off work since my honeymoon and my wedding,
Yeah.
like 5 years ago. And it was so nice to be home
Yeah.
with my kids, with my husband for like that uninterrupted time, even though it was insanity because it was the
Yeah.
holidays.
Right.
And then then we had the snow days and then people were sick. And I was like, okay, when are we going back to school
Now
and work?
we need to resume normal life.
But it was really nice to know, like, okay, I love this, but I also do love that element of working still.
Yeah.
Like, I did battle for a long time. Like, do I want to like fully be a stay-at-home mom? And
Mhm.
it's still something I think about in my mind all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that moms all over battle with, this idea of career and home, and our kids are only this young for a short time. And
Yes.
you like have this constant battle. But for
Mhm.
me, I have found that this is like the perfect balance
Mhm.
of still getting to have the career that I've had for almost 2 decades
Mhm.
and also be more at home with my kids and spend
Mm.
more time with them. Like
Yeah.
it's really, and I try really hard to like really set work aside on
Mhm.
those days that I am home with my kids
Yeah.
and just try to be there and be present. But
Mhm.
then it is nice when Monday rolls back around and I can go back in and put on my reporter hat
Yeah.
and still kind of do that part of my life that I love.
Is there because I know like in my job, I don't always get to differentiate like life from my, motherhood
Yeah.
from my job because they're so like intertwined,
Intertwined, yeah.
but do you feel like you're able to like does your job allow for that? Does your
Yeah.
job allow for you to like turn it off and say, "Okay, I'm not going to think about it now," or
Sometimes,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I will say, like, especially with news, people think like, oh, we must be like on call all the time. We aren't.
Mhm.
We are like, we have very like, I work these 8 to 9 to 10 hours
Mhm.
on these days, and only on like really crazy breaking news stories or weather events do you get called in
Yeah.
off your hours. So
Okay.
that part is pretty easy to separate. And
Mhm.
once the 6 p.m. news is done, like I am done for the day.
Okay.
Like there's emails and calls I still have to make sometimes. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been readjusting to this new sort of 9 to 6 schedule because
Yeah.
in the mornings I'm now making breakfast while also looking up story ideas
Yeah.
and sending emails. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, that's been my biggest adjustment to
Yeah.
this change in schedule is the morning time. And
Uh-huh.
especially with 2 kids going to school and packing lunches and making sure everyone's backpack is full while making sure that like I have my makeup on and my hair is done.
Yes. Oh.
So that part has been, and my New Year's resolution is working on making those mornings easier because my husband
Yeah.
leaves early in the morning for his
Mhm.
job. So it's just me with the kids in the
And the
morning
boys,
and
yeah.
um just trying to like set myself up for success at night
Yes.
is been a big thing of
That's a big thing.
setting
Mhm.
bags and backpacks and knowing where the heck my keys are the night
Yes.
before so I'm not looking for them while we're
Yes.
trying to also get out the door.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of moms can probably relate to
Oh,
that
100%.
that morning struggle.
Yeah, we start off strong.
We do.
We start strong at the beginning of the year. I feel like we have it all lined up at night, and then a couple months later, we just
Right. We're like halfway
fall
through the
off.
school year and it's like, where am I? Where's the backpack? Where's the lunchbox?
I know, right? Yeah, we have no bread.
Right. No.
Yeah. Do you go after your own stories in the news,
I-
or do they say, "Hey, this is what we want you to cover today, Alexis"?
So it depends. So our responsibility as a reporter is to pitch our stories every day. So I come
Okay.
in with like, hey, here are my ideas for the day. So, let me think of what yesterday was or Monday. I can think about Monday because I had pitched a story about TikTok
Mhm.
And the impact of the ban on local businesses. And they liked that idea. So they
Mhm.
said, hey, go do that.
Okay.
Now, some days it's okay. We like your ideas today, but actually we've got this press conference in the afternoon and we're going to
Okay.
need you to cover that. So
Okay.
it sort of depends. But as a reporter, it is our job to pitch our stories. So I
Nice.
always tell people, like, if you have a story idea, you have to let us know. Like,
Sure.
we don't always know what's happening in every single community.
Yeah.
We span a massive area from Jefferson County to
Mhm.
deep St. Charles County, all the way over to Illinois and to
Yeah.
St. Clair and all the counties on the sort of the Metro East side.
For
So
sure.
we can't know about everything in
Right.
everyone's community. So I always tell people, if you have something that's impacting your community, your school district, reach out to us and let us know. And we are happy to look into it and cover it often.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you prefer this? How does it like come down? Do you prefer the stories that you come up with or the ones that they hand you? Or does it kind of like
it sort of depends. I mean, sometimes I mean, I obviously love to highlight positive things about St. Louis. But that's not always the case. I mean, the news covers the hard hitting stuff. Our news station especially really prides itself on, we are a hard hitting station. We cover the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we want to make sure that we're an advocate and we're a voice for the people of St. Louis and the St. Louis region. So that doesn't always mean I get to cover like all the fun stories that I would love to, which is why I actually started my podcast, Meet St. Louis Podcast, which was a way to really highlight the positive. I interview like chefs and brewers and small business owners. And that was a way for me to say like, okay, we can showcase the really amazing things that St. Louis has while also holding those accountable on the news. So it sort of depends. I mean, I like to cover the big story of the day, but I also like to like do the fun ones too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're telling the whole story, right?
Exactly.
You're painting the whole picture.
And I think as a native of St. Louis, it's important for me to be a voice of our community, both showcasing the good and the bad and the things that need improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming on and chatting with us.
Thank you so much for talking to me and inviting me. I love what you guys do. I love the St. Louis mom community that you guys have built. And just, I think as a mom, like finding that mom community is the only way we're all going to make this work and feel less alone in this crazy motherhood journey, no matter like how old your kids are or what stage of motherhood you are in, whether you're a working mom or a stay-at-home mom or like me and have found sort of that in-between. Totally. I think finding your community makes everything about being a mom easier.
Totally. I remember you came to our play date last year and I was like, she's on the news and she's at our play date.
I remember
what is happening?
Like, is it okay if I post a picture of you? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And I love those play dates. I love the things that you guys do to make it easier for moms to meet other moms and have places for their kids to hang out and get out and explore St. Louis.
Yeah. And we know it's not always easy for moms. Like everybody has a different schedule, different work schedules, moms who are working full-time, part-time. It's, there's a lot to consider.
There's a lot going on with motherhood these days.
I tell you what, we don't get paid enough. That's for sure. All right. Well, Alexis, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in to Moms of the Lou. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to Moms of the Lou. We hope it encouraged you and put a pep in your step and helped you get to know our community a little bit better. Be sure to find us on Instagram, st.louis_mom. You can find us on Facebook, St. Louis Mom. You can find us on our website, www.stlouismom.com. In case nobody else tells you today, you're a great mom and you're doing a great job. Chat with you next time.